So Joel, tell me a bit about how Intel is involved in the connected car space.
We've been involved in automotive for well over 30 years, as you may be aware, but really started intensifying our actions about 10 years ago. We got involved with some software initiatives that are really setting a new way to build a connected car, truly open.
Tell me a bit about your work with Genivi, speaking of open source, and your involvement with that organization.
Genivi is something we started because we knew that in order to be truly innovative, the auto industry would have to open up its software architecture. So we started the initiative. We got 100 members real quickly within a year. A remarkable popularity there. And still going strong. About 175 companies are involved in Genivi.
And what would be the benefit to consumers for this open source approach?
We like to talk about how exciting the business opportunities,
Right.
how exciting the new innovations are going to be. What's really held it back, though, is the fact that each company is trying to reinvent themselves in that space as well. There's plenty of standards out there. There's no problem with
Right.
finding standards.
Right.
It's a question of how do we decide which ones will make the most use.
Now we're seeing a lot of automakers, and now Google and Apple, trying to replicate the mobile phone experience in the car. Is that the right approach?
Well, I think what you're going to see is the phone will be a small window within a larger set of services. And you're going to see visibility to really car-specific experiences. So instead of the car makers trying to reinvent the phone, they'll let the phone be itself. And then the applications that they build around that, whether they're on the same screen or they're on a separate screen, or maybe the phone user interface shows up right in your cockpit.
Now, what role does safety play in the connected car?
We look at where we're at today, it's all about convenience. That's what infotainment is about. But safety is not a trivial thing to implement. It takes a number of years to build a robust infotainment system. Safety puts about a 10-fold load on top of that to be certified and safe. So we're going to see a whole nother wave of development effort that's going to have to go into the system.
It's one thing when you're walking down the street or sitting on a bus or whatever using your device. It's a whole different thing when you're in your car.
I think one thing they could do is listening to the customer. The customer, you'd be surprised, doesn't necessarily want to do their Facebook updates while they're in the car. They want to know what the weather is up front of them. They want to know how many cars are going to be jammed up when they try to get off on their exit.
Right.
So that kind of information is very vehicle specific, and that is safety information.
How do you see the Internet of Things affecting cars?
I think it's the most exciting thing about the Internet of Things. It's the idea that the whole industry and all the industries are talking the same language. So we know that when we're trying to establish an Internet of Things for the car, that it's going to include the infrastructure, a smart infrastructure. It's going to include a smart city. And the people that are developing those smart cities are going to use the same language.
Now, tell us a bit about what you see as the potential benefits, as well as the challenges of IoT as it comes into the automobile.
Well, the benefits for the car driver is going to be that infrastructure linkage. So knowing context of where you are
Right.
and who you are.
Right.
I think that one of the things that we also see as a challenge is understanding where the boundaries are about privacy and security. This comes up all the time. And I think it's realistic to be aware that even though you feel like you're in your own private space when you're in your car, you are in a community.
Right.
You're in the community, you have to follow the rules. And if your car has information, it's not so much what you're going to bring into it, it's what your car is going to be able to send out of it.
You recently joined our Connected Car Council. What are you looking forward to?
I think that the Connected Car Council is going to give Intel the ability to expand its voice in the sense that we do a lot of ethnographic research on car usage. And I think the Connected Car Council will allow us to aggregate that information with the other council members, with the other industry participants, and make a louder voice. Louder than we even ourselves can make.
Right. So you brought something to show us here?
This component here is a production-ready silicon computer with memory built in. And of course, the reason that it's distinct here is that it is automotive grade. It's fully hardened, so it's ready to put in the car. What's different is that usually a silicon company like Intel will build for a car maker, they will be selling a product that doesn't exist yet when we start the conversation.
So
because it takes us
the production.
It takes us 3 years to build
a
a piece of silicon.
Yeah.
It takes them 3 years to engineer a car.
Right.
So we're talking about something that doesn't exist, but we have to start the software development right away. And oftentimes what you end up with is software that is just in its infancy, and you find yourself debugging
Right.
for the first 2 years.
Right.
So this is our way to speed time to market.